And now we're going to go over to our man, Mr. Chris Gaffney. Chris is the president of Everbank World Markets, folks. And what I'd love you to do right now is this. Go to everbank.com/TFNN. And when you go there, what you're going to see is that it's going to bring up the future is brighter for those with vision. You're going to hit the investing tab. And as you hit that investing tab, hit the Marketsafe CDs. And the reason for that is this. You have 48 hours. That's right, 48 hours. Everbank puts together these CD products, folks, that are pretty phenomenal. And we're going to talk with our man, Mr. Chris Gaffney, who's the president of Everbank World Markets, exactly what they do and what they may or may not do in the next 5 years. Chris Gaffney, welcome back to TFNN.
Well, thanks. It's a pleasure to be here, Tom.
You know, first, can you, and the reason we say 48 hours, folks, is this, is that this product, okay, and the product is the Marketsafe Futures CD, Economies CD, has to be funded by May 7th. So can you explain how this product works, Chris, please?
You bet. It's called a Marketsafe CD, and what it's based off, it's going to be based off the performance of 6 different currencies: the Brazil real, Chinese renminbi, Indian rupee, Indonesian rupiah, Mexican peso, and Turkish lira. And the CD, the key to it is that investors are protected against any principal loss. So it's a way to benefit from the upside of these currencies at the same time that you go to your principal. So it's a 5-year term, a $1,500 minimum investment. So it's very attainable and a great way to diversify an investment portfolio, getting exposure to some emerging markets that can be pretty volatile without.
Now, you know, what's amazing, Chris, right, is that, you know, and I happen to trade the dollar quite a bit. I mean, I'm in the gold market, I'm in the currency market. So, and, you know, it's amazing. The dollar run, you know, May of 2014, I mean, it was a nonstop move from May of 2014, you know, up until 2 months ago. And it's amazing to me, we have in the earnings season, all the numbers are coming up, and every large multinational has been blaming the dollar, strength of the dollar, for basically not making their numbers. And the ironic part, of course, is that, like, when I'm looking at the dollar, it's like, hey, it looks like it topped out to me at $100. I mean, you know.
Well, there we go. And as you know, in these volatile markets, timing is everything. And you know, there's values that are presented. While, you know, we look at the multinationals that are complaining about the strength of the dollar and how it's hurting their business, and you say, well, you know, how can you benefit from that? And really, it's buying currencies with dollars that are cheap right now, you know, relatively speaking, and that's the key. In addition, there's one other unique feature on this. As you said, it's a limited time offer, and it's going to go away in Paris. But the one unique feature of this is that we have what we call a jump note structure. So these currencies improve in price, even anything over, you know, 0. If they improve at all versus the U.S. dollar,
yes,
clients are going to receive 10% over the 5-year term. So it immediately goes to 10%. Now, if they do better than 10%, if the average return of these 6 currencies is better than 10%, clients will receive that better return. So you have 3 different return scenarios. Either the dollar continues to strengthen and you just get your principal back, or the dollar falls and the currencies improve by somewhere over 0% and you get 10%. Or they improve by over 10% and you get over 10%. So it's really a great way, in my opinion, to invest into those emerging markets and not have any principal risk.
Yes, and you can see, folks, I believe one of the main reasons for the deadline is that, you know, when the Everbank and when they put these packages, these structured products together, bottom line is that you put it together, you put it on so that, number one, you can take advantage of it, and number 2, it's not a fluctuation going back and forth. You're making that trade right then and there. And as you go over to everbank.com/TFNN, look at that term sheet, folks. So you see all the terms that are right there. the 10% minimum, Chris, is just phenomenal. That is so cool because the reality is that that's very unusual that if, in fact, you can go positive, you're going to go positive by a 10% factor.
Yeah. Sure, and what's the opportunity cost? You know, you always talk about what are you giving up in order to have the opportunity to earn the higher risk. And
yes.
Really, you know, we have some great rates at Everbank, but you know, in a 5-year CD, it's going to be tough to find, you know, at 10% over 5 years, 2% per year. So, you know, your opportunity cost is what you'd be earning on that money over the 5 years. And we feel right now, again, timing-wise, value-wise, it's a great time to get invested into the emerging markets, into this Marketsafe CD.
And what does happen here, folks, is that let's picture that, you know, we know the market has been pulling back, but let's picture that you whether want to get your principal back, because that's one big issue here, that you absolutely get your principal back no matter what happens. What is pretty cool inside this product you also have is that it's IRA eligible.
It sure is, and what a way to get the vacation into your IRA account, into those emerging markets. And again, with just a $1,500 minimum balance. So yes, we accept IRAs. Now, it's going to be tough to open an IRA within the deadline of Thursday's time. But if you just get the start and get you invested. So as long as you get that process started by Thursday, we can go ahead and get it invested for you.
That's a great point that Chris just brought up. Okay, so what he had brought up, folks, is that if you're trying to get into the IRA, it does take a little bit longer because you need a trustee for the IRA. You put it in, and I can tell you, folks, okay, and Chris, I trade inside my IRA that exact same way, so I know what you're talking about, okay? And bottom line is that you can go over, hit everbank.com/TFNN. If the IRA can't get open right now, it's as a self-directed, it's not a big deal, but it's something you do want to look at in the future, folks, because it is a great way that you have a truly self-directed IRA. You know, of course, you know, I brought this up before. You have 48 hours to do this, folks, and it's quite simple, right, Chris? You just hit you can hit open right now, fill out the form, and wire the money in.
Exactly, or you can, again, as long as you get that process started, if you hit open now and fill out the form right online, it will give you an approval online as far as opening the account, and then you have about a week to get the funds to us. So as long as you get the process started now within the next 48 hours, we'll go ahead and book it and know that that client's going to invest that money. So we'll the trade and have some time to get us. So
yeah, I see. That's awesome. That's awesome what you're doing. I understand what you're saying, because then you'll know what the accumulation of funds are that you have. You'll know that how you'll have to basically put on a delta neutral trade, right? So that you go out there.
That's exactly.
Well, listen, we really appreciate the update. We appreciate the business, and folks, it's everbank.com/TFNN. You can also call them at 855-750-4051.
And we can actually take that application right on the phone. So if you call that number and say you want to apply online or apply on the phone, we can get that done for you right there. We have experts that will answer any questions for you and get the application right on the phone.
That's awesome. So it's 855-750-4051. You know, this is going to be great just watching how this whole shakes out over the years, because you and I know, and folks know, that, you know, the dollar has been, you know, if we go back to 2001, you know, the dollar was at 121. The dollar goes down to 71. Everyone thought, you know, it does a large counter trend bounce. I mean, I think on a longer-term basis, I think we already went to hell with the dollar. Do you know what I'm saying? But the whole world is kind of, you know, basically in these currency wars. So, you know, you can see a large correction again. It's pretty cool.
Well, yeah. And what's driven the dollar is really a divergence of central bank policy. You know, you've got Europe and Japan, you know, dropping rates to negative territory,
yes,
or continuing to stimulate their economy. And at the same time, you've got the U.S. Fed looking to possibly increase rates. Now, you know, a lot will be said this day with the labor report, whether or not we're going to see a June rise. I think it's probably, personally, I think it's been pushed off to September, and I think the market's pricing that in now too. But still, our interest rates are going higher. The rest of the globe, for the most parts, are going lower.
No
and
doubt.
Therefore, the dollar has strengthened. But
no doubt.
that will change. That will change.
That's right. And it's a
it's
a 5-year CD, folks. It's 855-750-4051. Chris, thank you so much. You have a great night, safe night. Look forward to speaking to you again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, man. Have a great one. You stay right there, folks. Come right back.